Hello, 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 and welcome to the Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and where you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. That was the saddest purr ever. But if you have some tea, you know what to do, hit me up. I'm just drinking water right now. And it's so good to be back. I feel like I've been gone for far too long from Solos Las Mas, but I am here, but I am hoarse. And so therefore, I'm going to let David talk a lot more than me.
Fair. It sounds like you need some tea.
I need some tea. And you know, if I had some tea, you know what I have it in my cup mug. Mm-hmm. And we do. I haven't done this in a minute. Panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Beer, 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 beer. I haven't done it in a while, but you can get your cup mugs at lanachescreations.etsy.com. The link will be in the description below. And we do ship domestically here in the US and in Canada and Mexico. So you can get your cup mugs at lanachescreations.etsy.com. And internationally, there are some excuses. We're working on it. But get your cup merch, period, for
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I decided to wear my lovely Valentina shirt because we love Valentina. Such an incredible host of Drag Race Mexico. I can't wait to see what she does in season 2.
You're messy. Even I know that you're messy.
Oh, and I'm drinking some water.
Work. Well, like I said, it's been a minute since I've been on Solo Love Month. It's been crazy, crazy things going on in my life. New things happening here at the Cup, which is keeping me away from certain podcasts, but I'm back. So here we go. And I saw you missed me. Thank you. Some of you. Some of you. Um, but we're talking about Solo Love Month, episode 5. Um, I usually this is probably when I will take my moment, but I'm not going to take one. I'm just going to let it be because I really don't have a lot to say about. David and Logan covered everything I would have said in the other episodes, so there's no need for me to take my moment and say my piece. Just know that I am enjoying this season still. So,
And Lolita, are you enjoying her anymore yet?
Lolita is still the same person to me that she was when I left, and I'm just like, okay, girl. Um, everybody has their brand. She is not my brand, unfortunately, but that's okay. She's not for me. She's for everybody else, and y'all keep living for her. Live for her. I liked her little head thing she had on today. We'll talk about it, but yeah, I was living for that. But first, before we dive into all, hit the subscribe button. If you're here, we appreciate you. Hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you never miss an episode of we drop things because we do drop most all these contents all the time. And our drag lull is coming.
Drag
And so
Lala.
we have our drag lull.
The best drag queen I know.
Absolutely. And so we're gonna have a lot of extra stuff that we're gonna be throwing onto the channel to try to, fill in the gaps that we have. But we do have a solo last month here, as you know, and then we do have our look over here show that some of y'all ain't watching.
Why
So
aren't
if
you
you
watching it?
why aren't you watching it? We doing it for you to give you some in-depth looks. So you don't have to watch about the whole show, just about the looks. But whatever. Check that out though. Also, if you're a fan of reality TV, go join us at the Cup TV. If you're a fan of Eurovision, go join us at the Cup ESC. And if you're a fan of wrestling, go join us at the Cup Ringside. We need all the subscribers on all of our channels. And if you want to be a join our tea room to get some exclusive content and early access stuff to from all 4 channels, hit the join button down below, and you can become a member and get into the tea room because we got some exciting stuff in there. And if you're just like Patreon better, go to the Patreon. That link will be in the description below. Also, same content, just different platforms. All right, got all the business stuff out the way. We are moving and grooving into episode 5. And we come into the Nick's Lounge, and Toro is not happy in this moment. Miss Nasty is a little bitter and angry.
She's feeling nasty right now.
She's feeling real nasty.
It seems like she specifically is mad at one person, but she's mad at everybody. But her main ire is going one direction, and people are like, what happened? Why are you mad? Who are you mad at? And she was just talking about how she feels like people are being a hypocrite. Like, Serena. It's like, what happened? I guess we'll find out more later on when they talk about it. But I was like, okay, that came out of nowhere. I didn't know y'all had a relationship, an alliance, or anything like that.
Right. But apparently it was something that pissed her off. And she was like, Serena, I'm looking at you.
Yep. She said she would send her to Lipsync.
Absolutely she would.
We'll see if she still does that when given a choice later.
But then we have sorry,
You're good.
I'm struggling by working. I still don't know how to pronounce her name, and I feel so bad.
Apparently Aviesk.
Aviesk. Okay. Aviesk. It's going to come to me naturally.
Who?
Aviesk who?
There we go.
Aviesk. Who?
Who?
Aviesk. But
Who's on first?
right. Who's on first? Yeah. So Aviesk comes into the Nick's Lounge, and she's talking to the girls and like, how y'all feeling? And they're like, I mean, we good. We the most. Da, 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 you know. And she's like, you sure? Because I feel like some people ain't feeling so good right now. And they were like, I mean, everybody looking at Toro like, I mean, we was okay, and then she not. I don't know.
She's always trying to get the tea. She's like Lana. She needs the tea.
Absolutely, because that would have so been me. I'm like, I mean, I'm good, but Toro, you good, girl? Just trying to figure out what's happening. Next one now. But obviously, it's like I'm gonna stir it up a little bit and continue to go on and see what happens. Nothing happens, but then she tells them that they have to do a Chiquita mini challenge, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want to do another one." And they but they have 3 minutes to get the quick dry.
3 minutes is insane.
And then as they start getting ready, the lights go out. So now they got to get ready in the dark.
Was it 3 minutes in the light and then they had more time in the dark? Because I do not see how, especially one person, we'll talk about her. But one person, I'm like, how in the world did she do all of this in 3 minutes?
They had to be more than 3 minutes in the light, 3 minutes in the dark, because that just felt weird. Like, I don't know. But it was 3 minutes. And some people got like fully dressed with everything. And I'm like, I can't get dressed in 3 minutes without putting on makeup. And y'all talking about get 3 minutes in full. Okay, all right, whatever. But they do get dressed in their 3 minutes, and they have to go out to a different place because they're going to a farm.
A nosy farm.
Nosy farm.
You know, and this is a fitting name for Aviesk to take them to it, because we know Aviesk is very nosy.
So, and she likes stirring the pot a lot. That's what she does.
But one of my favorite moments from the whole episode comes from when they get to the nosy farm. It shows Rudy. And Rudy starts making these goat sounds. And this is another thing. Like, if you're not watching the English subtitles, you're missing out on some of the fun stuff they do. Because when Rudy starts making these goat sounds, the subtitles say eerily realistic goat sound.
I scream because, okay, full transparency, I watched it today. Logan and David watched it last night, and Logan put it in the chat that we have. And Logan was like, David, please tell me you got eerily real sounding goat noise sounds in your notes so we can talk about it tomorrow. And I'm looking at that
You were
like,
probably like,
what?
what in the world?
I was like, what does that mean? I have no idea. So when I watched it this morning, I screamed as much as I could scream with this voice. I screamed when it said eerily realistic goat sounds.
Full disclosure, that's why Lana doesn't have a voice, because she screamed laughing when she saw that subtitle.
I
So
wish that was.
I forget your name, but you who's in charge of the subtitles, this is your fault. This is your fault. Look what you did. We're suing.
I
Can
wish.
can you
I
do an
wish.
eerily realistic goat sound?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I mean, probably with this voice. I don't know. I don't know. You sound like you're about to throw up.
I'm glad my roommates aren't home. They would be hearing some eerily realistic goat sounds right now.
Mine is home. She's probably like, what is she doing?
Like, who let a goat in the house?
Go now.
What?
And this is why me and David
Text
can't do
her.
podcasts together.
Yes, text her and let her know it's not real.
It's not a real goat. I know it sounds eerily real, but it's not real. Oh
Oh,
God. It's the stupidest thing ever. Oh man. Oh, I couldn't wait to talk about that because that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen or heard in my life.
oh man.
Oh, I really wish that was why I lost my voice. That would be fun.
It would
That would be
be.
a fun story to tell, but no. But
But then
oh,
we see what the actual challenge is.
oh
It's
Jesus.
we kind of saw this last season, like a similar
Yes, we
type of thing,
did.
except
We
that was
did.
when they had to dress like celebrities and they had to answer questions. But
Right.
this time they don't have to dress like celebrities, but they are answering questions. And then we have Toxico put a thing around their neck, and then they have to answer trivia. And the first person is, I think, Rudy, right? Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
Rudy. And the questions are about Guillermo del Toro because we find out that
Yes.
the
Challenge.
the main challenge is La Mas del Toro, and I I'm a huge movie fan and I love Guillermo del Toro, so I was like, ooh, I was excited for this. So we see Rudy answering trivia questions about Guillermo del Toro, and Toxico, with his dirty, nasty hands,
Yeah.
starts pouring in some cockroaches.
Just
La, la
big old,
cucarachas.
huge cucarachas.
Yes.
Huge cucarachas. I was like, oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I could handle this.
I
I
could
think
handle it
I
too,
could
but
handle it. I don't think I'd scream or anything. It might
oh,
distract me a little bit, but I'm like, what's the worst they're gonna do? Like, sure, it's gross. If they were living with me, that would be one thing.
yes.
But this is temporary. uh, but not everybody could handle this.
I would scream, but I would be able to handle. I'm like, "Ah, okay, what's the question?
Mhm.
And just don't just don't go in my face. If you don't go in my face, I'm okay.
It was funny because I think Guajardo was next, and Toxico, for some reason, instead of pouring them out, starts putting like one at a time in her thing. And
Hmm.
Wahardo's so, like, concentrated and, like, answering the questions. I'm like, "Wow, look at her. She is totally unbothered by these cockroaches. She clearly doesn't have a fear." But no, she just hadn't noticed them yet. It took her a little while, but then when she did notice it, she just started screaming, and I'm like, "Okay. Okay, I guess you don't like them." Um, we see one get stuck in Georgie's wig.
Oh, just dangling outside.
Yeah, it seemed like Toxico was getting, like, more and more vicious as it went along, like, "They're
Yeah,
not reacting how I want them to," and so
right.
Madison's in there, "Let me just pour it on her head," and it's not a lot, it's, like, slightly on the side of her head, but I'm like,
Hmm.
"That's messed up," and Madison's freaking out. But then it just gets worse because poor Serena's in there, right in the middle of Serena's head. Like there were cockroaches just chilling, hanging out in her wig
Yep.
as she's freaking out. But she's really good at answering the questions under pressure. Like she was still like getting them. And then I think the last one was C-Pher. And this was the one I was alluding to. C-Pher looked damn good in this scarecrow
Yeah.
get up.
Yeah.
I
The
love
whole
that.
thing.
I know. I
Hat,
was like, I love
makeup, everything.
Toxico had to take off the hat though, which is fair.
Mm,
But I thought C-Pher was going to handle this, but C-Pher also was freaking out. Couldn't even name poor Velveteen when asked to name who the castmates were. I'm like, Velveteen, Velveteen, and she couldn't remember. But once all that's done, did you have any other thoughts on how that all went?
I just thought they did better than I probably would have because I would have been like, and then some of the questions that they were asking, I was like, I don't freaking know. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I think a lot of them are not meant for people like us to know, Americans.
right,
Why are you
right.
meowing? My cat is meowing. I'm sorry if you hear her.
Oof.
But we do find out who the top 3 were in the challenge.
Mhm. And I kind of figured that by the way they showed it. I was like, oh, I think she
Mhm.
did good. I think she did good.
See, Serena was the only one I felt really confident on. And sure enough, she was called first.
Mhm.
And then our other winners, I think we have a banner.
Oh, mhm.
Serena, Madison, and Velveteen. So they each get to pick an egg with some prizes.
Yep.
And so the first person picked was Serena. She opens her egg and she has 500
500
pesos.
pesos
Mhm.
work.
And then next we have Madison, who had no gold stars, but now she does because she got a gold star.
She was happy and she started dancing and she was cut the jig. It was like, woo,
Mhm.
gold star, gold star. And then a roach fell out of her dress.
Now, I laughed at this almost as hard as I did at the
Right,
eerily realistic goat sounds because she was just like she was so extra with her dancing. Like she was just acting like she won the lottery.
right.
She was going nuts and everybody's just watching her. And this makes me wonder, like, do they just tell them like, oh, can you dance for like a minute and we'll like get a good shot? And they're like, no, we're gonna use all of the footage of you dancing because this cockroach fell out. And then everybody starts pointing and
It
she
was
freaks
like,
out. It was
oh my God.
funny.
That means she was sitting back there while everybody else after her went with this cockroach in her
Yeah,
dress,
yeah.
freaking out.
Or
I wonder
somewhere in her
somewhere in her dress, under her boob, somewhere.
in her
And see,
ear, in her butt
you
crack.
know, but in who knows? It was weird. And it would have freaked me out because I felt like when I go to people's houses that I know ain't, who might have roaches, I'm like, feel like I need to do a dance myself when I leave. Like, and she, okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's TMI. I'm sorry.
Well, Velveteen also gets to open an egg and she gets 5,000 pesos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good on her.
I just looked at the equivalent of 500 pesos to United States dollars,
Hmm.
30 USD.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the peso goes a bit further in Mexico because they all
Probably.
seemed happy with what they got. I know
Yeah.
that if they told me here you won $30, I'd be like,
Thank,
really? Okay,
thank.
thank you.
You just bought me lunch and gas. I appreciate you so
that,
much.
that fills up half my tank.
Right.
But no, congrats to them. I was very pleased for all of them. And then it ends with Toxico just throwing roaches at them.
Uh,
Like, I guess it's time to leave, right?
right. Like, ew. Ew. Like,
Well, then we get back to the Nick's Lounge and we have our discussions that go on as always. So it starts out with Velveteen talking about how she's happy to be alive and back in the competition. Now, last week, Logan and I, we were under the impression that she still was a
mhm,
ghost.
Mhm.
even though she got the pink star, because we thought you had to get a gold star to come back in the
Right.
competition.
Right.
So
That's what I was under the impression too.
maybe they just changed the rules. I could have sworn they said a gold star. But I'm very happy for her. Like, it's good to see her actually get to compete again,
Mhm.
and get critiques. Um, but yeah, she was like, please don't kill me again. Yeah,
Please.
we'll
Yeah,
see
we'll see how
how
that lasts.
we'll see how that lasts. And then people are trying to talk to Soro, like, oh, tell us about how you're feeling. And she's just very hesitant to talk at first, but then
Mhm.
she decides to talk about how she had an alliance.
Right.
But now it's every queen for herself to her. Like, alliances are out the door. She realizes she can't trust.
That
She says F alliances.
that's her.
Yep. And then people keep asking, like, who were you in alliance with? Tell us. We want to know.
Name names.
Name names,
Say their name.
name names.
Say
And
their names. And she sure did. She was
she named
like,
one name.
that was the one she was really most uh mad at. That
Mhm.
ain't her.
Yeah. She said they had an agreement, and it must have been a recent agreement because she's like, she voted for me the very first chance that she had. So
Mhm.
that's like, oh, does that mean that you all just came to this agreement last episode?
Right.
So she's very mad at her. She's like, I'm mad at you, like, straight up. So they argue a little bit. I don't know. Did anything stand out to you from this argument?
I mean, it was just a typical argument. Soto was very upset. Selena didn't really understand why she was so mad. And Selena was trying to talk to her. So I was like, no, no, don't talk to me. Don't come near me. I am pissed. Don't do it. And I feel like a lot of girls who were confused were like, what is going on? But then you got some other girls who are not in their their little group. Was
Hmm.
like, look at them fight. Like uh Fajardo was just like, drag her, get her, tell her to her face. And I love that for you. And I was just like, absolutely. And then you got people like Madison and Rudy that kind of like, what is really happening here? Why are we mad? Rudy's like, I mean, it's a contest. It is what it is. You know, we are here to compete and people go vote for you. Suck it up. Like
Hmm.
that was Rudy's whole stance. Like, it is what it is. And then we got Serena was like, I don't know. Selena was like, I don't know why she's so upset. We are playing for 100 million pesos. This is big money here, and I need it just like she needs it, and we got to do what we got to do. It's the competition, so I know what you want. I
Yeah.
know.
Um, yeah. And then I think it comes out that there's maybe an alliance called the Bad Bitches,
Yeah.
which, yeah, I think Logan, I don't remember if that was on air or off air, but we had talked about it last week how apparently there is a crew involving Madison, Serena, and Rudy, known as the Bad Bitches.
Hmm.
And they seem to be playing kind of coy about it, like, oh, no, we would never be in an alliance. No. But maybe they are. Um, and we did have somebody leave a message for us.
I was just about to read that. I was
Oh,
just
okay.
going that we got that about the teams. Apparently, there are three teams: the bad bitches or the evil bitches, whatever you want to say. There was a group of drags that had a theater show and they assisted them when it came to monetary, and it was awesome. So it was Madison, it was Rudy, it was Serena, and then
All
the
right.
Dynasty, aka the Good Kittens. This is Hardo's drag family, Toro, Velveteen, and Georgiana, and then who's my mother's Lick Hiley's, of course. But then it seems like Velveteen does not want to be a part of the team anymore, and so there's that. And C-Pher's her own team.
Well, I'm on your team too, C-Pher.
Absolutely, I love C-Pher. So
Yeah. But things kind of end in the Nick's lounge with the Velveteen, and this was very funny too. She's like, I don't judge how well I'm doing based on stars or anything. How I judge how well people are doing is how many times Lolita says, you're nuts or
You're
you're insane. Like
you're
that's how you
crazy.
know you're doing well.
And they were like, let's see how many times we can get Lolita to say, you're crazy, you're nuts. So, Selena was imitating Lolita because everybody wanted her to do it. And that just pissed Sora off even more. She was like, she's so fake. She's so fake. I can't believe she's sitting here acting like everything is okay, that we didn't just argue. Like, she's so fake. And I was like, relax, Sora, relax. It's okay. But they ended it on a high. Everybody was talking about you're nuts, you're crazy, you're local. And so I was like, work. You know, it's fun.
Yeah, it was.
So I guess we're here, huh, David?
We're here.
Work. Well then, nope, that ain't the one I want.
Oh,
I
where are
got
you?
rid of you.
No, there.
I got rid of you. Here we are with our judges. And I am going to say this. I like this host style. I like this host a lot. I really dug her. Uh,
Me too. And I wasn't sure because one of our commenters was like, "Oh, if you thought the episode 3 host was bad, just wait till you see this one." I didn't think she was that bad.
I didn't think she was bad at all. I liked her.
Yeah. I mean,
I
she's
like her
not one of
little,
my top 2 so far, but she might be third.
yeah, I like her a lot. I like, first of all, I like this outfit. I like this denim
Mhm.
with the suit jacket outfit mix match mosh up. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool and cute and fun. I was liking her. I like her style. She just real laid back, real chill,
Mhm.
kind of like, what up?
She was. She just seems like a lot of lesbians I
Absolutely.
know.
Like, welcome to the show.
Mhm.
Do what you do. Grab a drink or not. I don't care. And yeah, let's do
Mhm.
this. And I felt her vibe. I liked her. I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
And then we have Mr. Waxman here in this.
Yeah, Alfonso is back. I wasn't sure if he would be back because I was like, I had a conspiracy theory that he was there for episode 1, and they're like, nah, we're gonna replace you with Luis.
Mm,
Oh, you can definitely see which side he's leaning, if you
uh,
know what I mean.
of course, you will see that. You're so
You can
stupid.
see it though, right? You know
Yes, I
exactly
can see it. I know
which side
exactly
he's
what you're
going.
talking about. I see you, David. I see you. Oh, Jesus.
I didn't
But,
ask to see that.
I mean, he wanted you to see it. I mean, look at this outfit. It screamed for you to see it.
It does.
But and those boots are something else. But
Hmm.
work. You got nice thighs, though. I ain't gonna lie. Good thighs.
Hmm. I'll tell you
And
what I think and look over here.
okay.
I'm gonna
And then
keep
Miss
it
oh,
secret.
period. Period. Miss Lolita is she giving. She giving. I'm gonna give it to her. She giving this week. But we'll talk about it more. Look over here. It is Lamas del Toro.
Woohoo! And are you a fan of Guillermo del Toro? Have you seen any?
Seen
Oh,
of Guillermo del Toro's work, but
and for anybody watching, Lana, she's not the biggest horror fan,
no.
and so a lot of what he does is horror.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's a lot that you would not enjoy,
No.
but
But
his stuff, it's like a it's not like a lot of horror can be like really lowbrow, and I
yes.
feel like his stuff comes from a very artistic angle. So I've always appreciated him ever since I saw Pan's Labyrinth. But yeah, I think he's very talented. So I was very excited to see what characters I would recognize, and some I did, some I did not. There might be some that I should have recognized but didn't realize it,
Hmm.
but we'll get into it. And so
Okay.
Lana, I don't know if you know, but what we do now is we decided we're just going to talk about the judges' comments as we go through the people,
Okay.
and then you'll hear our thoughts on the looks when you watch Look Over Here.
Okay. Well, sure. Look at y'all changing up on me when I'm
Mhm.
gone. And don't tell me, but it's fine.
Well,
First
no.
up, Bardo.
Yes, so Lajardo comes out, and so Alfonso, he really liked the blending of the matte colors with the
Mhm,
shiny.
mhm,
He thought it was a very good night for her. He liked the prosthetics,
right,
but Lolita thought that the presentation was very boring.
yeah,
She said nothing happened, and she kept expecting more. Like once she took off the mask, she was expecting something to happen, and just nothing ever happened. Uh, I can see what she's saying,
mhm,
but I mean, I think the look speaks for itself. I won't get into too much details with it, but
mhm.
did you have any thoughts on what either judge thought?
I like what Alfonso said, and
Mhm.
I didn't agree with what Lolita said.
Yeah,
But I mean, I didn't understand what else she wanted. But I mean, I guess I can and I can't. I understand what she wanted, but I'm like, girl,
she's hard to please.
hard. But we'll talk more about her.
Yes.
Up next is Velveteen.
Uh-oh.
Hit it twice.
Yes. So Velveteen, Alfonso liked that she was able to create this character look, but she still kept it feminine. Like she kept her femininity throughout
Mhm,
this whole evolution. Lolita thinks that her silhouettes are starting to look very similar each week.
mhm.
Like it's always the same shape on her. She hated that veil.
It looked like
uh, so
a
as soon
headache.
as Velveteen hears that, she's like, "Okay, bye," and tosses it, which is smart.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Lily like it looks like a napkin from a dirty diner. Like, ow. And I mean, I can agree with her about the
It was my
shape,
least favorite part of the look.
right? I think, yeah, I didn't like it, and it kept falling in her face
Mhm,
anyway. But I do agree about the silhouette and the kind of outfits that we're getting from Velveteen. A lot of them have the same shape and same silhouette, so it made sense. But I really, well, we'll talk about what I really liked or what I really didn't
mhm.
like. Up next is Rudy.
Okay, so Alfonso really liked this. He
Mhm,
really liked the colors, which those colors, if you've seen Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, like absolutely perfect for
mhm,
the blue fairy. Yeah, he just was all around very positive on this look. Lolita thinks it's a huge improvement
mhm.
from the prior week. She's like, "You weren't boring this week."
Right,
So, and Lolita sure had some strong words for Rudy last week. So I'm sure that was a relief to hear.
right. I do agree with both of them actually. I
Look,
thought
you
they
match
met
Rudy.
my hair just matched.
Hmm,
It was am I sending a message on what I thought
I
about
guess so, maybe.
else? But yeah, I thought that this look was I thought they both were really like spot on what they were saying about her.
Hmm.
And definitely a bigger improvement from last week for me as well. So 'cause I guess I kind of agree with Lolita, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, looking at this, you'd be like, "Who is this?" Because I basically was like, "Who is this?" But it's Madison, y'all.
Yeah, I never would have guessed if I just was looking at the pictures.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so Alfonso, he thought that Madison showed a lot of personality on the stage this week. His only concern was like if you're wearing a prosthetic, you need to double check it before you go out on the stage because there's
Yep.
a lot of risks that can come out. Like your sweat could like manage to reposition something that you're not expecting. Personally, I didn't really see anything too out of place. But we also had Lolita saying that she's glad that Madison took her advice to stop being beautiful every week and really showed a different side of her and still stole the show. So clearly, Lolita was living for this.
It was good. I think I was very shocked. And so when they said what they said, I was like, "Yep, yep, I agree with that." And
Right.
yeah, we'll talk about it later, I guess.
Hmm. Do you know who she's supposed to be in that?
I don't, but I know. Wait, Geppetto, right? Pinocchio.
No, I'm pretty positive she's supposed to be Guillermo del Toro right there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I thought
I
she was.
mean, if you Google him, they look very similar, and that looks like him on the book there too.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think that was her attempt.
Okay. I thought it
It's
was
not spot on, but it's a very good attempt.
C-Pher.
Hmm. So Alfonso likes that C-Pher didn't do a prosthetic this week and just really focused on the makeup with her face, and
Mm-hmm.
he was very into that makeup. He said it's I think Katrina makeup, is that what he said? It's that style. He just didn't like that it was kind of hard for her to walk in the dress. Like that was kind of a hindrance for her. Um, and then Lolita feels like she avoided doing a dark character. And for this specific theme, she's like, we want you to do a dark character. It's Guillermo del Toro. Like
Right.
that's what it should be. So she had a big issue with that. And she said that she's a perfectionist, but she used that in a way that did not sound like a compliment. But you never
Right.
know with Lolita. So
I don't
mm,
know. She confuses me from time to time if she likes something or don't like it, and it's like I don't know. But yeah.
and so I've said the first 4 episodes, I said C-Pher had my favorite look of each episode. So to find out if she still had my favorite look of this episode, you'll have to look over here and look over here.
Absolutely. Solo nasty.
Sora Nasty didn't get any critiques.
None whatsoever.
I actually thought she was going to come out first because that seems to be what they've been doing each episode
Mhm.
so far. Whoever's like a ghost or in purgatory, they come out first. That way you can just skip over them in line. But no, she came out pretty late. So I was like, wait, is she going to get critiques? Uh, but she
No,
did not. But spoiler, I think they probably really liked what they saw.
I think so. Because Alfonso wanted to say something, and they
Hmm.
made him stop. So,
Oh, I missed that part.
oh yeah, they wanted. He wanted. He was like, I want, and they were like, nope, 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 nope. You can't say anything. So, up
Okay. Then we have
this
Georgie.
Georgie.
Yeah, this one I'm not sure what this is from, but I'm extremely curious now. So if you know what this is from or any of the others, please let us know in the comments and I would appreciate that. But Alfonso says that Georgie went all in on the prosthetics this week. And he loves the outfit. He thought that it was genuinely scary. Um, and then Lolita said she's tired of the guys coming on the stage. She's tired of Toxico and Veneno and Venenito. She tells them stop coming on the stage, but then she says Georgie looked tremendously terrifying. Nothing but praise for Georgie this week.
Absolutely, and yeah, the praise was there, but
Mhm.
let's see why. And last but not least is Selena.
Yeah. Alfonso started talking about how there's been Oscars won for the makeup effects in different movies by Guillermo del Toro. And he said, you are doing Oscar winning makeup right now. So he was very high on her skills. And then Lolita, she just really didn't think the character worked for one specific reason. She said, how tall was she says the actor, how tall was he? Doug Jones is the actor who played this creature in The Shape of Water. And Serena says 6'4". And how tall are you? 5'6". Nope, that doesn't work. You're too short. You cannot embody this character. And you will hear my thoughts on what Lolita has to say more in look over here. I'll just let you know. I think that's a kind of a ridiculous critique. You're not as tall as the
Right,
person who played
as
this
an
character.
actor,
Yeah.
a character. Yeah, I
And Serena disagreed too. She kind of clapped back in a pretty respectful way. She wanted to give her thoughts about the critiques.
And I felt like she should have because that was a stupid critique,
It is.
honestly.
Yeah, sometimes like I do like Lolita more than I used to, but there are times, and this is not the last time this episode where I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
Why? Like what kind
Wrong.
of weird rules do you have?
What's wrong with you is what I like to say.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we do get the results. Well, we get
Mhm.
after the critiques, we get the results, and we find out that the winner is two.
It's you, and I'm looking
Is
at you, and I know some of you think I'm looking at you, but I'm not looking at you. I'm
I look at
looking at you.
you. Is two. Sororashi with no critiques.
I know. I was actually pretty surprised. Not because she didn't do well.
She
I
didn't
was
do
trying to figure out who was going to win based on like what they were saying to different people. And I had a few like I was like, okay, it could be Rudy's, it could be Georgie's, it could be Madison. I'm not sure. Were you
yeah.
surprised?
I was very surprised. I was like, oh, well, okay. Wow. But I'm not mad at it. So
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that people keep jumping back out of purgatory or
right.
being a ghost lately cuz now at this very second all 8 competitors are back in the competition. So, it's kind of
Um
funny how that worked out.
it is kind of funny how that works. But we also so Sorrow has to give somebody her black star.
Well, she doesn't have to do that yet. But also I did want to bring up the fact that Soro was talking about how this was one of her absolute favorite looks she had, and she felt really sad because she knew that she wasn't going to be able to get critiques on it. So
Right.
like she got very emotional and was crying uh,
Mhm.
because uh, because she got the win. So good for her. Like I'm happy for her because if you really did pour so much work into a specific outfit, you absolutely deserve to have the critiques for it.
Right. Right.
We have a pink star.
We do have a pink star. Oh, we do have a pink star. And the pink star, I didn't do the banner for the pink star, but the pink star went to is two.
Madison.
I was gonna do my is two.
Hmm.
But Madison, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Deserve. Great work. But then we have the
A
girls that
vote.
have to vote. They have to go back and vote. And they're voting and they're voting, and people were like, she got this critique, and the judges critiqued this the hardest, and
Mhm.
nobody got bad, but everybody got some critique. So we're gonna base this on what the judges said.
Yeah, we saw Georgie vote for C-Pher. It seemed like a lot of the things they were saying while voting seemed to be based on C-Pher's critiques. So I'm like, oh, Seifer's getting voted in. Like, I
Right.
can't blame them either because she's everybody's biggest competition. So why
Absolutely.
wouldn't they?
Absolutely. But when we get to the stage, they said the person with the most votes was not Cipher.
It
So
is too.
is two Velveteen. And I was like,
Ooh,
oh.
that poor girl.
I'm like, oh, girl, they just go kick it at you like bam, bam, bam. You just get in, they want to kick you back out. And so then Sorrel has to give her black star to find out who's going to be in this lip sync against Velveteen.
Okay, it's time to put up or shut up. You said Serena earlier, right?
And that's what she said. It's gonna be Serena. You don't care. And did she give it to Serena? No, she gave it to Speaker instead.
Ah, no, 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 no.
Gave it to Speaker. So Speaker was, yeah, Speaker got it. And so we had to go through this lip sync with Velveteen and Speaker. But first, before we even get started in the lip sync, Selena comes out, and she's like, "Look," and they're like, "Selena, what are you doing here?"
I
Like,
was so confused. I was like, what in the world is happening?
I thought I missed something. I was scrolling back to see if I missed something. She was like, I feel like somebody doesn't deserve to be here and I should be here. So I'm going to lip sync and I'm going to take Velveteen out of the situation and I'm going to lip sync in her place. Velveteen was like, no. I was getting ready to resign. I was getting ready to leave.
What?
I was like, wait, what? Like, I was getting ready to drop out of this competition. And so the judges are like, wait, hold on. You want to take her place and you want to leave. We're gonna respect your decision, but what are y'all gonna decide? And Steve was just in there like, somebody take me out of here. Like, somebody save me. Be great. But so Velveteen goes through, he's like, no, I want to determine my own fate.
I don't need a hero.
Right. I want to do this for myself. So it was like, no, I don't feel like you. And Rose was like, no, I'm staying. I'm going to do it myself. I'm staying.
You should have made all three of them lip sync.
Exactly. I was like, okay, fine. All three.
Or take out C-Pher. Be like, okay, you two are fighting over who gets a lip sync. Both of you. C-Pher, you're safe.
Absolutely. I would have done that. But they were like, no. And so she was like, okay, I'm staying. And so they're like, okay, Selena, get off the stage.
So we're back to where we started.
Back to where we started from.
I just was shocked. Like, this was like, I was so like, just the layers here, I just did not expect.
My eyes was just like,
I watched Lana watch this too, so I
absolutely, because I literally had to watch it 5 minutes before we started recording. I was like, how about the last 5 minutes? I really want to know what happened. And man, I was just like, it was crazy.
I told you it was wild.
What you said, and I was like, where's the wild part? Okay. But it's good. It worked. And I was like, all right. Okay. All right, let's do this. And so they finally get to the lip sync. Lip sync happens. And I'm watching this lip sync, and I was like, because y'all know I love me some C-Pher. And I'm very high on C-Pher. I think C-Pher won this lip sync.
Oh.
Did not think she won the lip sync. I was like, I felt like they were good and it was a good lip sync. It was a decent lip sync and they were doing really well, but it was just little things C-Pher did that made me go, oh, come on, girl. And like she just kept looking away. Her head was up. She wasn't looking. And I think at some point she wasn't even lip syncing. At some point I was like, oh.
Well, they were lip syncing different parts of the song. Like one would do like the lead and one would do the backup. That's why I kept cutting. It would show one of them doing one and then the other one it would I actually thought this was the best lip sync of the season so far, and by a large margin. Like, I way enjoyed this more than anything else, and I was surprised by both of them. Like, I've never seen C-Pher lip sync, but I was imagining she might not be that great. I guess we did see her in the musical last week. And then Velveteen, I already know that the bar is extremely low for her, but I thought she did really well. For me, though, I actually was more intrigued by everything C-Pher was doing. Like, she had some interesting dance moves that I was like, okay, like this like weird like gallop back. I can't explain it all, but she was drawing my eye a bit more. So I actually thought C-Pher won the lip sync.
I thought Velveteen was drawing my eye because she was like, she knew the words, she was moving. I think it was the musicality of it for me that I liked in Velveteen that I liked more than C-Pher, but it didn't matter what we thought. It was matter what the judges thought. And the judges thought the person who would get the black star this week is C-Pher.
And she seemed very upset to have to do this.
Yes.
And her biggest critique was like, you should know by now. Like, you've done this for years. Look at the camera.
Absolutely.
Well, but I'm like, what? Since what? Like, I'm not used to watching lip syncs where they look at the camera.
I mean,
when has that been a requirement?
Look at the audience. I would say,
Well,
because
she
she was
okay.
lip
Well, the
syncing.
subtitles said camera.
But camera audience is the same thing. I would, because we're used to the camera, and she was lip syncing like this, and I'm like, I can't see you lip syncing like da ba da ba da da da. Da. I'm
So she
like, I
meant
want you to
more
look
like
at me.
face the
Yes,
front a little
more
bit more.
face to front, more
Okay.
face in the front instead of in the air like that.
Well, the way it was worded was very confusing to me. Like if somebody was doing a lip sync and they were just staring directly into the camera lens the whole time, I would be so weirded out and uncomfortable. I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to be done. Like, unless you're doing a song about being really creepy, then that would be hilarious. Like just staring creepily into the camera as
I
you're
always feel like somebody's watching me.
watching.
That's creepy. That's
Yeah.
weird.
I
But
was
I
like,
get
Lolita, you don't know how these drag shows work if you want them to look into the camera lens. Come on, woman.
you, right? I
You
get it.
you make thank you for clarifying to me. I didn't notice it as an issue, but you did, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, but um it worked out the way it is. C-Pher got her first Black Star. I'm
no.
like, and she was bummed, like, I will be in the finale. And I was like, I have no doubt you're gonna be in the finale for sure. I have no doubt. But they coming for you, so be careful. You
Mhm.
gotta win.
Well, she better get that gold star next week. I believe in her.
Absolutely. I do too. If
Mhm.
anybody gonna pull out a gold star, I think it's C-Pher.
Yeah,
So,
for
but
sure.
that is that, y'all. We talked about it. We are here. We're done it. And now we got to go look over here, and we hope you will check that out so you can
Look
get
over
the
there.
full extent thoughts of what we thought about these looks. Because honestly, if you only watching this, you're only getting half the story. So
Yep.
go check
You'll
out that.
never know if C-Pher is still my favorite look of the week. Who
You'll
knows?
never know. You'll never know. So go check that out. And hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on your way out. We appreciate you watching. Go follow our other three channels rather, and check all those out. Subscribe to all of them. Follow us on our socials at the Cup Potted, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we'll be putting some funny moments up there, probably from this episode, I'm sure. Um, if you can follow me and David if you want, sure. We're cool. And you can get your cup merch at Lana David Creations at Etsy.com. All the links will be in the description below. And on that note, y'all, we go get up out of here. So cheers.
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 Bleh.
Not the eerily realistic ghost sounds.
Bleh.